Welcome to PNN Talk Radio, the Patriot News Network, at patriotsride.org, with Pastor Kathy Rubio. Now here is your host. Okay. Hello there.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. Oh, I forgot you weren't going to introduce us and read that thing.
No, it's all you, Kathy.
Okay, it's all me. And I made a quick phone call to Ira, and then I hung up on him. Well, maybe he'll get it. Hello, everybody. It's been quite a day, so just forgive me. I'm a little bit scatterbrained today. We are here tonight, and we have two guests with us. We have Casey Davis and we have Michael Arevna with us. And we may have a third guest coming on later. We're waiting to hear yet if they're going to make it or not. So it looks like we've got some sound problems, and I think they're going to work on that in the background.
No, you have to refresh your browser because that one's not live.
My browser's not live?
No, just refresh your browser and you will hear the live show. That is a recorded show.
Pay no mind, Kathy. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Okay, but I'm not on this page. I'm just only on.
No, it was me. I had the browser up. It was playing in the background over the same headphones, and I'm going.
Oh,
It was me. I'm an idiot. Moving on.
Well, just join the crowd today. I have made every mistake there is to make. I have made it today, and with pride. Anyway, so we have an exciting night planned here, and we also have people that are very, very tired. You're going to put up with us here tonight, and we're going to make it okay. Michael, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I have my voice back. The last time I was on, I sounded like, I guess, a low-budget Darth Vader, so I have my voice back, so I'm happy about that.
Okay, low-budget Darth Vader. And Casey, how are you?
Oh, other than having my wrong browser windows open, I've been doing really good. I found that I've put in more work over these last 2 days since I've been unemployed than I was when I was employed, if you can believe it.
Hey, join the ranks. Join the ranks, because that happens to me all the time.
That's the secret to all of my discoveries is being unemployed, so you're going to be brilliant.
Yeah, really. Much more so than when I was employed, because they occupied too much of my time. Anyway, what I wanted to be able to hopefully talk about tonight, and I haven't been able to get together with you, Michael, to really discuss it, mentioned it a little bit this afternoon, and we'll see how far we actually get with it. But I would like to study time travel.
Okay.
Okay, Casey, are you with me?
Yeah, and I have some unique insight into that. That's a surprise on me.
Go for it.
Oh, I'll let you guys ramp in, and I'll chime in as necessary.
Oh, okay. Well, the reason I want to discuss it is because I was doing some code breaking last night, and as I was breaking codes, I'm seeing that one of my friends is also breaking the same codes. And we are finding out that the Illuminati made a little mistake. And actually I would be more correct in saying the Cabal. And they were doing their rituals for the 21st of December, which the moon had to be at a certain position at that time. And the moon was not in the right position, and so the ritual that they didn't pan out, and they need to travel back in time now, and that's the order that they were being given by the Queen yesterday in these codes. Travel back in the time to the 21st and correct your problem. I don't believe they can correct it. I know they can travel back, but I don't think they can correct the positioning of the moon. So I don't know, Casey, can they? Can they, Michael?
Change the position of the moon?
Yeah, I'm not sure they could actually change the position of the moon. It would be more about being in the right location for the ritual. I guess if the moon was in the right. Yeah, the ritual would be more important.
Yeah, they would have to wait as opposed to trying to change circumstance. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of the ritual, is that you're working in alignment with nature and not trying to manipulate it.
Right, okay. And so that's what their order is by the Queen, is to go back in there and fix their problem. However that is going to happen. So today when we were in prayer, we're praying against this. We're blocking it. And every warrior out there should be doing the same thing right now. Block every ritual they're going through. And they are, in fact, right now, from the 1st of the month to the 16th of the month, they are going to work a new set of rituals that they haven't done before. And these rituals are to open up all the portals. They're from below and from above. They're trying to get them all open. So on the 7th and on the 16th, no, on the 7th and on the 20th, I'm sorry, those are blood rituals, in where they will actually take the body of a person. They will sacrifice a person. The rest of the time is blood rituals, and what you'll see is more shootings, more mass deaths, things like this. So more of these things will occur. So those people over there in Connecticut that gave your guns back, ooh, shame on you. You're probably going to need them. But that's where we're at with what I could decode, what I could see, and what the other fellow decoded as well.
Well, I guess if that's the case, we're going to see the silver and the golden gate and the ley line variables will be there as well. Yeah. Because if it is a blood ritual, then the ley lines are going to trace to one of the ancient temples like Teotihuacan or Chichen Itza. I actually believe that there's people inside the temples at the time performing the blood rituals, and even interestingly enough, under the Pyramid of Giza is a shaft that goes underground, and nobody knows where it goes. But if you read ancient history, there's always a underground layer of a subterranean culture that's not, I guess, on God's team, on the Most High's team. So I'm not going to be surprised if any of this happens, because I think that 2014 is going to be the year that everything is stepped up. And I've been calling it. It's funny that you said that, and I just called it the year of the blood. I just pulled that out of the air, and now you bring this up. And on New Year's Day, I was on Facebook, and one of my friends who's got either friends with Marilyn Manson, the satanic rocker, or Marilyn Manson. Actually, she said she went to high school with him, because I chatted with her in the message box. But he had put up a picture where it was the cross and then an inverted cross connected, and it had 2014 and then the mirror of 2014, and people were saying that it means AIDS or Dios, but I don't think so, because he had a message under it, and he said, the time is here.
The time is here, and I think this is why the message that God gave me a message last week, and he gave it directly to Boehner, Obama, Biden, and then the rest of me called them all snakes. He said, your time is up, get running. And I think that's why. I think because God has had enough. He's had enough. And I think he's so angry, and he's going to step in here pretty soon. These guys are all going to get a big surprise. But until that happens, we got to do our job and keep praying through.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've heard about time travel before. Like early in my studies, I had studied the Philadelphia experiment, and I've heard pieces of it, but I never knew if it was disinformation, because one of the common themes within that type of topic was that they couldn't go beyond 2012. Like 2012 was the end, and obviously we've gone past 2012, and like the remote viewers could not see past 2012. So I'm just not really sure about it. I mean, I think from a biblical perspective, Jesus was able to do it, but he's Jesus.
Casey says he's not familiar with this.
Well, I'm just not familiar with the 2012 implication.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
In the studies that I've done on the time travel, it just in non-magical means, we're just talking, using like electrical apparatus. One gentleman, is the furthest he's gone was 2174. And he had some interesting insight as to the state of the world at that point. If you follow along that line of stuff.
Well, what did he say? That sounds fascinating. What did he see in 2174?
Well, I don't want to give too big of a spoiler, but interestingly enough, the New World Order made its move and failed. In doing so, the geography of the world has changed. The water levels are slightly risen. Basically, Florida and everything is underwater up to Georgia, California, up to Arizona, so on and so forth. Basically the Cascades all the way down is under. But the surviving humanity actually did form some sort of not utopia, but they did find a way to live amongst themselves fairly well, and that was about as far as he really got into that period. That was the interesting thing of note. Apparently, when he was there, he suffered radiation damage moving through time and was in a hospital. So most of the stuff he learned from what they had in relation to television and talking to nurses and such.
It sounds like Edgar Casey and Michael Gordon Scallion, they had the same map of the U.S. and Florida was going to be...
it's funny you say that because I've never actually read any of Casey's stuff. It's been on my to-do list, but I've never actually gotten a chance to look at any of it.
Yeah, I got to show you one book. I actually have it upstairs, and every now and then I've read it over the years, but every now and then I peek back into it to see, the closer we get to the year, he's supposed to be right about everything, and he's been off about some stuff too. Like on 2012, some stuff was supposed to happen, and it didn't happen. So it always tells me that the Bible is the perfect prophecy.
Exactly.
Indeed.
Not just a man. I don't want to knock him because he was right about a whole lot of stuff before, but you never know what spirit he was talking to, or if his is kind of new age too. It's like he was linking into the Hall of Records and seeing things like that. But Gordon Michael Scallion was separate from him. He was a guy that lost his voice and went into the hospital, and then when he came out, he could see people's auras. But the common link between him and Edgar Casey was that they both saw the map of the earth had changed and Florida was underwater. Like you said, Arizona, the Mississippi river was like I think either 50 miles wide. Yeah, it was something like that.
It was the new inlet. He didn't bother to draw me an image or anything of this map. He simply described it. He described anti-gravity devices that kept cities kind of floating several miles above the air, and they would kind of just migrate and pick different locations for different scenery, different times of the year kind of deal. Interestingly enough, he said all law was dictated by some sort of intelligent crystalline device, which we would amount to a organic, artificially intelligent computer.
Right.
Since it had no bias and was capable of no bias or self-interest, it's the perfect adjudicator.
Yeah, that'd be nice in our court systems.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have some non-biased reflection, huh?
It would. Well, I think that might be pretty close to right on, Casey, because if you think about what the Bible says that the wicked are removed from this earth, and the righteous inherit this earth. Therefore, there has to be an earth to inherit. It's not destroyed. I always think that when the wicked are removed from the earth, Kathy, I think it has to do with the
there's some relationship to the sun when you read that in the book of Malachi. I think it's Malachi 4:6, and it's the day of the Lord, and it talks about when the wicked are going to be removed. They're going to be burned to ash, and I get the believers are going to be like calves freed from their stalls, dancing on the ashes of the wicked. So that has to be a really magical moment for people to be happy while other people have been vaporized and you're dancing on their ashes, whatever is supposed to happen. I always think it has something to do with the sun because, I think we talked about that the last time with the chemtrails and stuff, and that's what I think. I think that they're trying to absorb the radiation from the sun.
Who, the wicked?
Well, no, I think that, the wicked, that's what they're trying to do. I think that they're trying to actively stop what's supposed to happen according to prophecy, and I think that that's one of the reasons why they're finding, that's what Casey went into the last time that we spoke when he was educating us on some other chemicals that were in there, but the point is there's barium in there, and barium in the chemtrails is absorbing radiation.
Yeah, well, that would make sense because Satan is trying to copy everything from the Bible, but he's doing it out of the timing of God. Before that, God would have his people rescued, or he's just trying to take as many souls with him as he can by copying everything the Bible says. So these people who are sheeple will follow him when the false Christ comes along and says, "Here, I'm going to save you, and I'm going to pay all your bills, and I'm going to take care of you," and they're going to fall for all that.
Well, it does sound really good.
It does, yeah. Yeah, well, most women thought that when they were thinking about getting married too, but it didn't work so well, So I don't think that that's going to work that way. And I think that God has a plan for these wicked, and it don't matter where they go. They can go up, down, all around. He's right there. They're not going to escape him. I think that they have dug some very, very expensive graves under the ground here. And I sure, for me, I would never go underground in these earthquakes and these things that are taking place. That's not where I'd go.
No, it's probably going to be their tombs.
Yeah. I know last night I had a dream last night. I don't know. I got up. I ran right to the computer to see if it had happened already, if that's why I was dreaming this. But first of all, I saw a tiger, the biggest head on this tiger I've ever seen. And he was hidden in behind a bunch of trees, and he was just moving his eyes back and forth, watching. And all of a sudden came an 8.8 earthquake. And the land underneath of us just bubbled right up. It bubbled right up everywhere, just like it was, I don't know. But I came in here to see that there wasn't an 8.8 yet, so maybe there's going to be an 8.8. And that was my first thought. Boy, I wouldn't want to be them people that are living underground. Them people are nuts. Because they just dug their own very expensive graves. That's what they did.
Yeah, there's some story that was out last week about that machine that that digs into, like, burrows into mountain rock, into the rock of the earth. What was that about? I know they hit something.
That was over there by Casey.
Yeah, that's over Seattle Underground. Yeah, I took your internet cable, man. Sorry. Yeah, the Big Bertha. She was digging the new. They have a floating bridge that essentially they're getting rid of by tunneling this new tunnel underneath Seattle, and the big earth mover got stuck.
And did they figure out what it was? Because they were going to send someone down there to find out.
Yeah, they're trying to figure it out. That's what I'm interested in hearing. Like, what exactly
what was it?
It was a long steel pipe. Apparently, the earth chewer has a hard time with hardened, tempered steel, which I could believe.
So So this was a pipe for what? Electricity or water?
Looks like it was actually a bracing support.
Oh, okay.
For what that low down? I'm not following this.
Well, just bear in mind that underneath what you guys know Seattle right now is a whole nother city. See, there's a whole part of old Seattle that's underneath current Seattle. And then underneath that is their old sewer system, and then underneath that is this freaking machine.
Yeah.
And underneath that is probably the reptiles.
Totally.
Yeah.
He said, totally.
Totally.
I couldn't get my mic unmuted fast enough to say it before you, but yeah, totally.
Right, I got you.
Oh, dear. Yeah, we got some interesting times coming up here, people. And we are going to be going through them.
I had a phone call with a lady yesterday. I met her through a mutual friend, and we talked briefly. And she called me yesterday, and she had a near-death experience many years ago. She was driving. She was on a double date. Her and her husband were on a double date with another couple. They were sitting in the back of the other couple's car, driving on 95 outside of Philly, and a drunk driver hit him head on, and the guy that was driving the car, the drunk driver, was killed, of course, and the guy that was driving the car she was in, she saw him get decapitated. His wife was seriously injured. She had her leg detached. Her husband broke his back. Part of her face was torn off, and that was just, the accident part. But what got interesting was, like, she said that when she came to, she realized she was like near the bottom part of the car in the back seat, and somehow she figured how to pull herself up, and she was crying for help. And so her husband was crying that he couldn't help her because he's like, I can't move, my back is broke, and he was crying, and she was being supportive to him emotionally. Don't worry, help's going to come. And then she said she heard this popping sound, and she said she felt her body inside her body. And then she said she just stood up and walked outside of her body, and she's standing there. She could see the see her body, and she walked away. And then she felt this poking in her back, and she said she was terrified to turn around because she said this thing was just such a trippy experience. And then she felt another poke, and then she said she was just terrified, so she just prayed and had the courage to turn around. And then she said she just saw people just walking like regular people. I said, what were they? What kind of people? She said, just regular people, regularly dressed people. They were just there, just walking around. And then she said her feet started like moving like she was like on an escalator. And then she went down that tunnel everybody has been down. And then she went through it. And this is the fourth person that I've ever spoken to that's told me when they meet Jesus what he looks like. And they said, first of all, he's just absolutely beautiful and emanating peace and love. And she said, and everybody has said this. I've talked to the first guy that told me was this Trinidadian researcher who met him, who had a near-death experience, and he said his face looked like liquid gold, like a liquid bronzy gold, and they had trouble just explaining it. And they said his hair was beautiful, and he had these dark, piercing eyes, and she was talking to him, and she said that she made him laugh because she was like, "Can I just check you out?" And he thought that was just funny. And he was telling her that she wasn't dead. He had to protect her from the death angel, and he's going to bring her back. It's not her time, but he wants her to go back and spread the word that his kingdom is real and that he's real and that he's coming back. And she could see the city, and she said it was just so beautiful that she didn't want to come back. And everybody that has the near-death experience says that they don't want to come back. And so she asked to see hell, too. And he said, I'll take you to there, but we can't go into, like, the middle of it. You can just look at it from the outside. And so she went and she looked at it, and she said it was just dark and very gloomy, and the sulfur smell that people talk about, it just stank so bad, she said. And And he said something to her that, like, and I don't even know, I don't understand it. I don't think she did either, or I have to talk to her some more about it to get greater clarity. But he said that people could leave there if they would just ask, but I don't think that they know to. Maybe they're so tormented that they can't. But basically, he sent her back, and she had like a series of reconstructive surgeries and whatnot. And she's on a special mission now. There's some things that I'm not at liberty to discuss that she told me in confidence, some things that are going to happen that she's supposed to do in the future. But Jesus is coming back, and she feels like you said, Kathy, that he's coming back very soon.
Yeah, he's coming not back to stay. He's coming because he is sick and tired of this mess. He's going to put an end to it. And that's why I think what you were saying in the beginning, Casey, is true. I don't think that we're going to see a lot of the mess that they have planned if the prayer warriors are doing what we're supposed to be doing. If we are blocking these rituals, if we are fighting in the Spirit the way we've been called to do, then I believe that God is going to answer. And we are not going to see all of the things that people are telling us we're going to see. But if we disobey, then we will. We're going to see maybe even more. But the more that we understand, I don't know about other people anyway. I don't know about you guys, but if I can understand a thing before it comes, then I have no fear, because I know what's coming. I know exactly how to fight. What I don't understand, what I can't see in front of me, that bothers me. And I have to go find out. I guess that's what a good researcher does, isn't it?
I mean, on New Year's, I wanted to take a break, like when we were speaking earlier in private, about my mother-in-law, and she's on the verge of passing on. I wanted to take a break from doing any research and any writing. So I was actually down in my little low-budget project studio that I have, where I can do music and stuff like that, and just killing some time trying to relax and take some pressure off myself. And so my wife got home, so she could bring in the new year. She got home from the hospital, and I came upstairs and I saw Ryan Seacrest. His eyes had the slits in them like the serpents, and I was like, "Oh man, I got to do a story now." And so I went and I found my camera, my digital camera, and I started taking a bunch of pics of just the TV, because people always say that's Photoshop. And so I said, I'm just going to use the TV, and I took pictures of the TV. I did some video, and I don't know, I try to keep an open mind. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong about this, but his eyes look like a slit, look like the slits from the serpent, and it was very prominent. And I got some really good pictures. I put it on RevelationNow.net, and I put the video on there as well. And you can see it yourself, and it's there. And I want someone to explain it to me, because I'm looking at everybody else in the video, and they only have, like, when your eye is reflecting light, it's like one dot, one light reflection. But his you'll see the two dots. You'll see it all on there. And I'm saying to myself, they are getting really bold, and they really don't care anymore, and they're just out in front because everybody is asleep. And then I saw that message from Marilyn Manson, "The time is here," and I think they're just coming out of the closet. We talked about the Mandela production and what my perception of that was, where I think that maybe Nimrod or Marduk or whatever his name is, whoever he is, I think that he's back, and I think this is going to be the year of the blood. We're going to see some bloody things happen, like you were saying earlier, the mass shootings, the blood. It was funny. You and I have not spoken about this at all until
I've been trying to get a hold of you for days.
Yeah, but we're talking about exactly the same thing, because we're plugged into who? The Holy Spirit.
Amen. Yeah, that's right. Casey's having problems getting back. Oh, here he is. Okay.
No, I tried to switch back over to the wireless, and that didn't work so well.
Oh, didn't. While you were gone, I was thinking, too, involved in time travel is quantum physics.
Well, yeah, it's the very nature
and
of
you're
it.
the expert in that, so talk to us about
that's a
that.
loose term.
A loose term. Oh. I don't want no terms, Casey.
So when you're well, what do you want to know about time travel?
Well, how does quantum physics fit into time travel?
Well, so the most classic issue is the grandfather clause, so to speak. You know, you go back in time, kill your grandfather, do you exist? So the answer to that conundrum is yes, you do indeed exist. When you travel through time, you're not traveling through time in a linear segment. You're just traveling through different lines of possibility. So when you're traveling in time, you're actually not even in the same time stream. You're just in one that's very similar to the one that you're in. So you're looking at the possibilities, the outcomes. Generally speaking, most decisions you make don't affect the overall course of your timeline, of your soul's journey through space. Major decisions will have an effect on you, and those effects can have effects on others. When something is large enough, it creates enough effect on people that you can get large change. This can be large traumatic events. Actually, you know, for the most part, they're generally followed by large traumatic events. So, you know, that's why large events trigger change. I mean, that you create some chaos in which you can lay down new rules and place down new order, and then you pull order out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for giggles, let's say you wanted to see how the world would turned out had Hitler won. So we could fire up this machine and step across, horizontally, so to speak, into a time stream in which we didn't enter the war and Hitler won, or somehow he overcame the Russian winters and won. In which case we can see, you know, how fascism would have changed the world history at that point. But doing things in those time streams thus create new time streams, so you never end up with a real paradox. You know, if you go back in time and you step on a mosquito, you change nothing.
Maybe Obama would have finally figured out who his family really was.
So that's you know, time travel is a loose term for it, because what you're doing is you're just moving backward and forward across the possibility spectrum.
Okay,
and
does this have anything to do with I'd say about 2 years ago, when I was 2 years ago when I was down in Virginia. I was living at a place that it was just all woods all around us. And I'd go out and I'd sit outside every night and pray, because that was the only place you could be alone. And when I'd be out there, I would see, no matter where I looked, I'd see all these eyes. Always see eyes in all the trees all around me, these eyes. And I couldn't figure out what in the heck was going on. And finally one day I said, you know, I almost feel like there's no reality on this earth anymore. This is not reality in here. And everything is becoming more unreal every day for me. Go ahead, Casey.
Well, you know, reality in of itself is a subjective issue. You know, you're experiencing, and your observation forms your perspective of what's happening, but what's happening is never truly what you think it is.
Yeah, I finally found myself saying the only reality there really is anymore is in heaven. There is no other reality.
Well, yeah, this is a poor reflection, the dark side of the looking glass, if you will. You know, this is just a poor reflection of the ultimate possibility that does exist. This is an area, a sandbox, if you will, where souls can go through and experience lots of different things and come to some sort of understanding of itself.
Who was the guy who said that the whole world is like a stage?
That was Shakespeare, or better known as Francis Bacon.
Well, he sure knew what he was talking about, didn't he?
Well, yeah,
this whole world is a stage.
He was an initiate of the mysteries.
Wow.
A Rosicrucian.
Yeah, indeed. Good call.
I wanted to ask you, Casey, did you ever study the Hutchinson effect?
Yeah, I have the good pleasure of actually being very close to where Mr. Hutchinson lives. We have been able to replicate a number of his supersonic movement. I have not been able to recreate the full-out levitation that he's been able to do, and the main reason is I just don't have access to enough actual power, raw alternating current electricity. So, but I'm working on that.
Okay, so
I had
for those of
a
us
friend
who
of mine. Go
For
ahead.
those of us who don't know who that is, could you explain that quickly?
Mr. Hutchinson is a self-taught Canadian scientist, researcher. I don't know what you want to call him. Anyway, he studied a lot of Tesla's oscillating circuits. For those of you who don't know anything about circuits or about oscillating things, what you end up with is if you have more than one turning object, let's use a good example like our planets in the solar system. If you have one or more moving turning objects, then at certain points in their movement, they will become resonant to each other, through different proportions of space, speed, time, etc. What we're seeing is a correlation of those effects. That's really what's going on there. But anyway, he's a researcher up in Canada who has done a lot of work with Tesla's resonating circuits. And out of that, he found, I don't know if you want to call it anti-gravity, but he found a way that you can move objects around in a way that seems to defy gravity. Now, for those who are like, oh my God, that's incredible, I'll tell you what, if you go get a paperclip and a magnet, you too can defy gravity.
He was doing things like beaming like a high frequency at a bowling ball, and it would just like shoot up and stick to the ceiling.
Now he wasn't broadcasting. What he was very specifically what he was doing was he was creating a high potential static field using what's called a Van de Graaff generator, which can be made with a PVC pipe and some rabbit fur. And then he had a Tesla coil plugged in properly. A Tesla coil is not meant to be plugged into a power source. You see most people will plug it into a wall or into something like that. You don't plug it in. It's an antenna. It's meant to receive a signal. And then you have a rotating radio frequency field of a particular frequency. And when you put those together in the right locations and the right powers and orders, really cool stuff happens.
Hey, guys, we have a caller.
Okay.
I'm going to let him come in. Go ahead, Zeta. Hello? Hello?
Technical difficulty.
Hello.
Uh-huh. Who am I talking to?
I think I came in on Zeta's line. I'm not sure. I guess I'm Zeta.
You're Zeta.
I'm new at this. I just got this number tonight. I'm listening. You guys have some very fantastic, awesome discussion. So I'm just listening.
Oh, okay.
But I'm honored to be on the line. So thank you.
All right. Thank you. Hope you enjoy. Okay,
well,
guys.
I have two questions for Casey. One, do you mind if I call you Jimmy Neutron? And two,
my son used to watch that show growing up.
That's what you sound like to me. I'm like, wow. Here's the second thing. I had a friend of mine, and I got this through hearsay. He knew a guy that was working with Hutchinson. He ended up working over at Credit Suisse in New York City. And he said that during Hutchinson's experimentation, it was opening up. You guys were talking about time travel before, but it was opening up like windows in the room, like, and they could actually see into them.
Short
like
answer,
they'd
yes.
Look into them. They'd see clouds and stuff, and I was like, "This sounds like time travel."
Close. What he was actually creating was what you would if you were looking up quantum mechanics, you would want to look up hyperspace. Mm-hmm. What they were actually doing was so Einstein admitted that space and time were integral, they were linked together, and that there was a curvature to the geometry in which time travels. Now, a lot of people understand, but they don't truly appreciate what that means. So what you're doing when you collide these different fields, this static potential field, this radio field, and then what Tesla's neat device does, when you get these fields together in a balance and they start to resonate, it's curving space-time on itself and doubling over again, and it creates sort of a hollow, empty space in what you would call the space-time continuum, if you will. In one of your, basically, it's creating a space in between the timelines, and you can actually shove objects into that area.
They did. That's what he said that he did too. I think he said he threw like a basketball through there or something, and it didn't come back.
Yeah, it was.
He
did throw a basketball.
Had you heard all this before though? You had heard it because
I've seen the footage of
one day.
So Hutchinson put out a bunch of videos showing his levitation stuff, but he didn't put out any videos showing what you're talking about. So one, I can validate what you're talking about. Yes, that did indeed happen. There is indeed footage of it. That footage is not readily available. I have seen very small replications of the same event.
I know the guy. I know the guy.
Event's been created elsewhere.
That was there that saw it though. I mean, I didn't know him, but I've seen him before when I used to, where I was before. So I did. Wow, I'm like blown away. So answer this. So what if you would have walked through that hole? If you would have jumped through the hole, what do you think would have happened? Would you have ended up like in 1984, or you'd be in the same time and you just end up in Montana?
There's various possibilities. So chances you can translocate, because here's part of the issue. The timelines don't always line up horizontally, so you could end up in open space. You could end up there's a lot involved with projecting yourself forward and landing on a moving object. Bear in mind how fast the planet is moving through space, and its positions change, and we don't necessarily know exactly where it's going to be all the time. Many people have been lost in the. I wouldn't go through it. There are other ways to deal with those dimensions without actually warping time space. So it's there are ways of exploring those areas without subjecting your physical body to harm.
But how would you explore it? Like, would you throw the golf balls through it that they use to measure tornado activity? I mean, how would you actually?
That brings about another
how
question.
Would you measure it?
Because he threw that basketball through, do demons now play basketball?
Maybe.
I mean, demons started basketball. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
That's right where I was going to go.
So the issue with hyperspace is, and with any dimensions in between timelines, is that there are other entities that were created by the Creator that exist in and throughout those other areas, and any matter that's translocated from one to another or through those areas is subject to interference, I guess is the polite way to put it. If there's any Marvel heroes out, any Marvel fans out there, this is reminiscent to what Nightcrawler would have to be subjected to. His character can teleport, but the only problem is the dimension he travels through when he teleports is in essence hell. So he has to get in and out of it as quickly as possible.
Is that and then there's Azazel who could travel even further.
Azazel is his father. And Azazel, of course, is the name of a
fallen angel.
Yeah, indeed, one of the pact makers.
I think I read that in the Book of Enoch, that name, and I was like, "Wow, they're stealing everything."
He's one of the pact makers. He's one of the ones that stood on Mount Hermon and made the pact.
That's like George Lucas taking all the hieroglyphs from the Temple of Abydos and turning them into Star Wars features.
Yep. Or even funnier still, a lot of kids play Final Fantasy games and everything, and they're literally you're fighting Seraphim and they're fallen angels, and I mean there's no hiding it even at that point.
Well, I have a very serious question, Casey. Is there any way that we can take this Congress and this White House bunch of idiots and send them back somewhere else?
I knew you were going to say that. And just throw the whole building into the hole.
Just open up the portal and say, "Here, go."
the information for building such, and that's why I'm not going to get into the specifics of how you build these things, but the some information is too dangerous for people to have.
Oh, are you talking about me?
Oh, there's lots of people that shouldn't understand how to make these things.
And you, Kathy, and you.
I'm not naming names.
I could sure clean up this nation in a hurry, couldn't I?
They would just be like children left on Earth after she's done.
Oh, I would have so much fun.
Like, where's Eddie Murphy? Where's Oprah? Come on, what's going on?
Really. Oh, dear. Zita's laughing back. You can laugh with us, Zita. Come on out here.
So Casey, what happened? I don't hear anything about Hutchinson anymore. What happened to him? Is he still kicking?
Have no idea.
Still around. He's doing videos, and he married now into the Illuminati family.
Oh, so he's shut up, basically. Okay.
Yeah, he's last I knew, he was out your way, Casey, and he's working on the ocean out there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably sharing his body with a demon.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of his videos for a while, but it was just way beyond my capacity. I couldn't keep up with him.
Yeah, he was an interesting fella. He I'd have to say he got external help the whole way around, because he wouldn't have been able to even carry on his experiments had he not come across a bunch of old Tesla equipment that was sitting in a warehouse and managed to negotiate just a ludicrous deal for them.
Well, I know he was working out of a lab here in Hutchinson, Minnesota for a while.
Yeah. He
got married. The lady he married is from here, and she's part of the Illuminati family. I won't mention it.
Well, that's okay, because I mean, other than showing his effects, if you didn't have, it takes a lot of background knowledge to understand what he was doing and what he was working on. So it's not like we're losing a view into that technology in particular, other than some very minor side effects. Really most of the stuff he's been showing lately is just silly little things. That old footage that he had out there, those were the best experiments, and that was all the equipment that he got through that ludicrous deal and then ended up losing later, after all of it had been set up and experimented with.
And who was the other guy that was involved with Tesla? He went to live in the desert for quite a while by himself. He's was banished out there, I think.
Well, there's a number of people. I'm not sure which guy.
He was a scientist that was working with Tesla, and when things went south for them guys, he kind of more or less was banished to the desert by the government. But he is still doing stuff from the desert. He is still working out there. I cannot think of what his name is. I used to watch all his stuff too.
Yeah. Not ringing a bell for me.
Me either, no.
Me either. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that followed Tesla. And I think that Tesla did a lot of good things before everything got turned around. A lot of his experiments were good.
Oh, everything he was doing was good-natured, but the issue was he intuitively understood and managed to actually access through apparatus vast amounts of energy that it would have been a reset switch. In order to deal with the concepts that he's playing with, you don't have to be an electrician. You don't have to understand the very complicated electronics theory that you have now, but he managed to tap into something that would have changed everything.
There's a guy in Germany, a doctor, Professor Konstantin Mail. Have you heard of him?
I have.
He basically was able to show that the ancient Greek ruins, their temple systems were also used for communication. He broke down the top of it called the cella, and they were basically able to send messages. It could send like I think it was like a gigawatt, like 2 gigawatts of energy from one temple to another. It was enough to travel around the world once, and I figured out basically that when you look at all these movies and you have like the king always kept his high priest next to him, because I think they were just like cell phones to them, and they would go in the temple and they would meditate in that cella, and then they would open up a door in it, and then all of their energy, which was basically like microwave energy, would actually travel to the next temple, and then you'd have a priest sitting in that temple, and he would receive the message. That's how they knew everything. And they, like in the movies, they're like, his ships are ready. He'll be here in 2 days. They have their full armadas coming, and that's how he basically proved that they were communicating, because he developed research on vortexes, and all vortexes have a counterpart, and also being able to form matter. But I did a brief piece on it, and they were able to measure it, like the Temple of Apollo and at Corinth, and the Temple of Athena, and the Temple of Venus in Roma, and the Temple of Zeus. Each one of the designs gave them a certain amount of megahertz that it could generate from the cella. So there's so much, and it's all natural. Everything that we're doing that's technology driven seems to be fueling capitalism and fossil fuels anyway. But what they were doing back in the day was so green technology, was so natural, but they were able to do exactly what we're doing without polluting the earth with cell phone radiation that we're using right now. So I think this stuff is fascinating. The past is so fascinating, and I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, and the past, it tells you all about what your future is going to be, because there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, I try to explain that to people all the time, and read the Book of Enoch, read this, and they go, the Bible tells me not to study. I shouldn't read a lot.
What?
It's going to confuse me. Yeah, and I was like, yeah. I had to defriend a guy on Facebook, I'm going to be honest. He was the first guy I had to defriend. I was just like, I can't have you in my camp, dude. You can't be in my camp talking like that. Vowels are bad. Vowels are bad.
Oh dear.
Casey, have you heard of the and help me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. It's called the Daya Nalinga. Did we lose Casey?
No, can't. It doesn't ring a bell.
It's over in India. And it's some type of construction on a ley line, and you go there and you meditate, and you're able to achieve like instant meditation, like that the yogis do, and what they're able to do. But it does something to your brain waves just meditating there. You could take a trip there, and go experience it. Like they have like little trips you can take and go, get the whole little package. But you actually go there. It's like an energy center, and you go there and you just meditate, and people are doing amazing things. And one guy's like, I was there for 2 days and I quit smoking, and they're repairing themselves. But it's all about energy, and it's all about this structure that they built where they can actually it sets their brain waves, like their beta waves, so their brains just get set, and then they go alpha to theta, like really quickly. I don't know. You should look into that. I'd be interested in.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at some. I'm looking at some of it right now, and it looks like you can get these same effects at just about every ancient site. They tend to be sitting directly on an energy vortex. Those energy vortexes are that actually ties in very directly with the Tesla talk. That's an area where this cosmic radiation spirals down from the ionosphere down to the Earth, and then it connects into those ley lines and is distributed through those ley lines.
Yep. Thank you, Jimmy Neutron.
No
I have
problem.
to laugh because Zita's in the background here saying I can take a trip in my lazy girl. It must be on a ley line, she said.
right, well, I gotta Google
Oh,
that.
dude.
Lazy girl. I could use a lazy girl.
Yeah, me too. Now I'm really. This is going to bug me because I can't remember that guy's name. Well, I'll just keep looking while you guys are talking.
You're talking about
As it
that
goes
guy
silent.
that was with Tesla, the guy you can't remember.
Yeah. He actually was Tesla's roommate for a while. Then Tesla was killed, and the roommate was banished. And they had just gotten a whole lab put together. That's what the deal was. They had this whole lab put together, all the equipment they needed, and the government came in and stole all the equipment and banished this guy to the desert. So in the desert, he was managing to get people to donate him equipment. He was trying to do what he could do from the desert. He was doing some really good work, too, but I just can't think of his name. If anybody out there knows the name, call in, please.
Yeah, I don't have a clue on this one.
I'll try this. I'm looking, I'll find it. This drives me crazy when I can't figure something out. Anyway, so time travel. What can we do with time travel right now? Aside from throwing the whole government in there, that really will help us as a nation.
It seems so complex and expensive to do it. Like when I was researching the Philadelphia experiment, they took Einstein's unified field theory, and then they used Tesla as the nuts and bolts man to make it all happen. And it's very expensive to get the stuff. I mean, I don't know where Hutchinson got his stuff that Casey was talking about, but, you know, I don't really think the average person could afford it, and it sounds dangerous from what Casey was saying, too. I mean, you know, I wouldn't want to play and do it at all. Like, I just watched that movie The Fly again after like 15 years, and the baboon, the first baboon that went through, it didn't work out too well for him. So I'm just going to stay on the internet, you know, and just, you know, do my research and stay like that. I just don't think, I don't know, I just don't think that the Lord is going to let anything happen. I mean, if time travel was really that easy, why not go back in time from the demonic realm and just, you know, kill Mary, you know, turn it into a Terminator, you know, movie and just kill Mary before, you know, kill Mary's mother's mother, and that would never happen. So I think that there's boundaries there that will never happen. That, you know, one of the most funniest Mad TV spoofs that I ever saw was the Terminator was sent back to protect Jesus. And he got in the way of his mission, and Jesus wanted to die, and so and the Terminator wouldn't let him. He even killed Judas. He's like, he's going to betray you. And then Jesus would bring him back to life. He's like,
what the heck show was that?
This was Mad TV, and he kept killing Judas, and then Jesus would bring him back to life, and Jesus was getting very angry, and he was like, forgive him, Father. He's a robot from the future.
Yeah, that's a little far.
But I don't know. There's boundaries there, though. That's my whole point, though. I just think there's boundaries there where I don't think it's that easy to do, because then Satan, he wouldn't have to do anything but just kill key people, you know, kill Adam, kill Abel, kill Jacob, kill Abraham, you know. It would be too easy. I don't know. I just think that there's parameters there that will stop it, or there's an angel, you know, maybe there's a time angel, and you're not messing with these angels. These angels are so powerful that I remember having a mind explosion that one angel killed 85,000 soldiers in a night.
Yep, that's the truth.
That's insane power.
Mm-hmm. And it is.
So I think that prophecy is just going to unfold the way prophecy is going to unfold.
And that's really what they're doing with time travel. They're trying to reverse things, move them around, change all prophecy. They're trying to do things out of the timing of God. Maybe that's why they have such a hard time.
That's
right.
right.
Do you have any like biblical scripture to support that though, about the time travel stuff?
Biblical scripture? No, none that I know of. Mm-mm.
I mean, I vaguely remember reading about the I think it's called the Vedic scripture, where they said they had time machines and stuff like that there, but I didn't read that in the Bible.
No, I don't think so, that it's in there. But it must be, because remember they removed a lot of books from the Bible, a lot of them. And you have some allusion to that in the book of Enoch.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have some allusion to that in the Apocrypha.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think there is.
And maybe would you say... And
Zed is saying right now that it is the echoes of Enoch.
Mm-hmm. And what about Ezekiel? You think that wheel within a wheel had anything to do with time travel?
Yeah, I do. And I think that that was what they called the first UFO, too. Because the thing had landing gear. That's what they were explaining with the wings they were seeing. It was a type of gear that was landing. And actually, Ezekiel did a really good job of explaining this vision that he had, because that was a vision.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing is new under the sun. Nothing.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Therefore, there it is. I think that we've been so dumbed down for so many years, and none of us would even think, there's a few of us, like Mr. Casey over here, we wouldn't think to go study that. I didn't think about that till about 4 years ago. And I don't know why I got curious about it, but I think it was because of the portals. Because I knew that the demons were trying to open the portals. Well, where was the portals going to take you? Backward, forward, where?
Yeah, I mean, like Casey was saying, though, for us, it just sounds so unpredictable how to do it. You would need, like, some type of temporal time-locking mechanism.
Well, I know a few people I'd like to lock back there in time. No problem.
And that's why the Lord hasn't given this to you.
Yes. I'm quite sure of that. Yeah, I could think of quite a few people right off the top of my head that could just go visit somewhere else. Yep. Or maybe you could send them back just long enough to learn their lessons and then come back. Kind of like going to a third world country. If people would go out and live in a third world country for 6 months and then come back here and vote, we'd have a whole new Congress. And it would be a good one.
We're just in such a bad political state because of the lack of limitation on terms for congressmen and senators, and they can do whatever they want forever.
You know, Zeta, you should come on and say this. I don't want to be reading your stuff. Just come on and say it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there's ancient aliens in the Hebrew Bible.
Yeah.
And the Aztecs were aliens because they helped build the temple. And they were 14 and 15 to 17 feet tall.
I actually have the lid of Palenque on my wall, and that's clearly a scientific apparatus that Indians in. Have you seen the lid of Palenque?
Yeah, but how do you think they got all those pieces which were huge stones moved?
Well, they were another culture that actually worshipped reptilian beings. They were the ones that worshipped Quetzalcoatl,
yeah,
the feathered serpent. So again, that to me that goes back to the seed of the serpent. And if you look at all or most of the ancient cultures, they all worshipped a serpent, a winged serpent, or a dragon, and they were talking and they'd make love to women and everything. So and they brought with them great science as well.
And if you study the pyramids, the Aztecs were linked to it.
And isn't it funny how the Aztecs were so tall then and they shrunk so much now?
Yeah, well, there's speculation that they went through a time that they just disappeared. They came in and out as quickly, from nowhere, and they disappeared as well.
Well, the Aztec Indians are all over Mexico and Guatemala.
Yeah, but they're mixed down.
Yeah, that's what I'm
are.
saying. They got so short.
Right.
I worked at the Museum of Natural History in D.C., and yeah, they were really short. They were like Gary Coleman size.
Right. Gary Coleman.
I'll tell you I'll tell you, this really happened to me. The first time I went down to Guatemala, we stopped at a pizza place to eat, and our van was robbed, and all of my clothes were taken. Now, I'm only 5'8", but to look at them people, you'd believe I was a giant. And to go and find underwear and clothing down there to fit me at that time was, I had to send home for it. People brought it back from the United States.
So when you bought a pair of shorts, they were Daisy Dukes. I'm just kidding.
It was terrible. I said, could they have stolen any other suitcase but mine, because everybody else was short.
Well, listen, guys, we'll take a short break here and let you guys do what you do on a break, and we'll be right back.
All righty.
Well, all right. Welcome back to the Kathy Rubio Show with Michael Arevna and Casey Davis. So how y'all doing?
We're doing good. Casey and Michael.
And Michael. Yeah. Okay, forget the last names. Forget Casey and Michael.
I'm going to leave it up to you two to figure out what we're going to talk about the second hour.
Well, let's keep it on the ancient aliens. No, I'm just kidding.
You like it on the ancient aliens?
Nah.
Listen, there are no aliens.
Yeah, only demons. Ha ha. That's true.
Ancient demons.
Yep. And they have many forms.
Ancient gods.
Yeah, the
That's
fallen
right.
ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I find the Book of Enoch and the Sumerian civilization, the archaeology that you see actually runs parallel with the Book of Enoch.
Yeah. Also, you can find it in Escalades in 1:9. It's also in James 1:5-6. I was while we were on break, I was doing a little research there.
Yeah, I'm going to revisit that after we finish the show. I'm definitely going to go look into that. That might be another good story to jump into. I actually did a story on Beyonce, like one of my YouTube subscribers. Yeah, she has a new video out called "Drunk in Love," and I looked at it with no sound. I muted it, and she just looks like if you watch that video with no sound, and she just looks like a idiot, a complete clown.
She on the Last Supper, she put her body right in the middle where Jesus was to block him out.
Yeah, that's what I put in there too. That was the real focus. And then my friend, and I wasn't going to even do a story on that because that was a Instagram posting that she did. But my friend said, look at this video, and she's holding a statue. And I'd seen that statue before because that's from the Sumerian civilization as well. It looked like a Nana. And these are the same goddesses that go through time, Inanna, Diana. It's the same goddess worship, and she's holding it for a reason. Why would she be holding like a trophy statue, and they're telling you stuff? So then I analyzed.
It is Illuminati, Luciferian rituals, and she just does not realize what she did when she blotted Jesus out. Jesus will blot her out. See,
that's right.
See how you bring your own curse down upon you.
Yep, those who curse me. Mm-hmm.
Well, I looked at the jewelry that she had on, and the director shows you things. So she has on, it's the second time she has on a ring with horns on it. She normally wears
Baphomet.
the Baphomet goat. And then she has on a bracelet with a serpent, a silver serpent on it. And then she's wearing a downward triangle this time, and from the occult circles, and I know Casey is a wellspring of knowledge on this, but the downward triangle, one of the meanings of it is water, and there's an entity associated with that, plus we're in the age of Aquarius. And then finally, I noticed her eye, and she has the serpent eye, almost like that V that you were talking about the last time we spoke, Kathy, the V symbol.
Yeah.
You could actually put the V symbol up to her eye and look at it and see that that's what the shape of her eye is like. And I think that she's graduated. I think that she was like a musical.
She got elevated.
Before.
Yeah.
I think she's got a goddess type demon in her now.
Mm-hmm.
And this
She's been
this
elevated.
whole video was about sex, basically pornography, sex, and then I played the song backwards last night because, like I said, I'm unemployed. I've got a lot of time to kill. So I played the song backwards, and she said, I am God in it. I heard that. And then I have no weakness, and I am God.
Mm-hmm. And you know, part of that ritual is they want to bring in the water destruction. It's about birthing the new world order. And just like a woman breaks her water before she has her birth, it is a ritual that they want to bring in a water disaster to bring in the new world order.
And we're seeing that a lot on the money, too, now that you say that.
Absolutely.
We're seeing water, and even Kathy sent me this video, and the video producer believes that there's going to be some type of asteroid that's going to hit right outside of New York City, and you're going to see New York City inundated with a tidal wave.
I don't think there'll be an asteroid involved in it because it's not written. It's not nowhere in prophecy. A star falls from heaven in Revelation,
Right.
not a
Right.
meteor or a comet or anything like that. So this is a deception. They want you to believe that. It's fear-mongering. They want to blow the dam, the Hoover Dam, along with the Meridian, the Madrid fault line.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's all
Well,
about.
what about Wormwood?
Wormwood is the star that falls.
Mm-hmm.
Now-
and it sours the water.
Yes.
There's also a description of star meaning angel as well when you go to Strong's Concordance.
Right.
So that's where, I don't know, it says it could be an angel, but then again,
Well,
like,
if you take those scriptures literally, the angel stands on the corner, and it is pronounced before the star falls. So it is metaphorically speaking, but there is a physical star that suddenly falls from heaven. It's not going to be, even NASA won't know about it.
mm-hmm.
When
So
they
now-
And what about Nibiru? What is Nibiru then, a star?
Nibiru is the destroyer. That is Wormwood.
Mm-hmm.
Because this
So
star
it's-
evidently has life on it. From
So
Scripture.
where is that biblically, the star that has life on it? What
That's
are you
in
getting
Revelation. Here,
From that?
you
Where are you getting, it says it has life on it, the star has life on it?
Well, it has to have life on it because look what the star brings. It brings the everybody that's not sealed up is tortured for 6 months
Mm-hmm.
from this locust type of fluttering. It flies, but it has the description in there. It has a breastplate, it has a face of a man, and it has wings, and then it also has like a horse type of legs. So that's the description of it that this star brings.
Mm-hmm.
So that's life.
The scripture you're referring to, Michael, is the one where it says God calls the stars angels.
Right.
Yeah, I know about that scripture too, and I do believe that he does refer to stars as angels, but this star you're talking about is different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I know that there's positively, I'm sure, that some of the meteors that we're seeing falling right now are not meteors.
No.
Because when they're hitting the earth, they're making no sound.
None.
And when people go to find where they fell, there's nothing.
Yeah, this is fallout from the wars in heaven.
These are angels that are actually coming here.
Yeah.
These are angels.
Yeah, I'm actually hearing accounts of them being angels, and it's so hard to validate all this though. But they're just saying that they get up and they walk away with wings. And,
Well, there's also that flying around that the Palladians are coming to help.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the Bible mentions the Pleiadians, and so
Yep.
you don't really know which side to go on with that.
The
Not that they're
Palladians.
coming
Is that
to
from
help. I don't believe that, but
Right.
is that
do
from
they
the book
exist?
of Amos?
And no,
Is
it's
that
from
from
Job.
Yeah.
I gotta read that part again because I remember
Job
thinking about
38.
Ryan. Okay, I gotta.
And
go back
there's
get
some
to
people that wholeheartedly believe this, that they're in touch with the Palladians, and they are here
Well,
to
yeah.
help mankind.
Yeah.
So,
There was a woman when I was on RBN radio, and every Friday I was on just to do the spiritual side of things, and it was my Friday. I was on this woman. She had been on the night before. I think her name was Colleen Thomas, and she thought she was a Pleiadian, and she was this thoroughly convinced of it. She lost her whole family over it. Well, I felt sorry for her. But this guy from Canada called while I was on, and he said that he would like to see her and I on a show together. To which I said to him, I'm not here for your entertainment.
right.
And I refused to do that. But There are many, many, many people that believe they are from other planets.
Right. And see, the New
Why
Age...
do they? And I think they truly believe it, but I think it's because of the demon that possesses them.
Right. And then the New Age has attached themselves to the Palladians and really got it mucked up, you know?
Yeah. Well, there again,
Like
you got your demons.
Right.
The Galactic Federation, they're full of prophecies that don't happen.
Right.
Yeah. Well, they're full of a few other things, too.
Yeah, I got caught up in that. I read this book by Sheldon Nile called "You Are a Galactic Human," and this was probably back in 1993, 94, and I was expecting this photon belt of energy, and the Earth was going to be in it, and everybody was like, "You're a dork."
Yep.
And nothing ever happened, basically. And these New Age people are probably very wealthy off suckers buying their books, and
well,
the
they're
Bible's
certainly
free.
wealthy off the dinar.
Yeah, I know.
They've gotten real wealthy off of that.
Yeah. People need to focus on the angels because it is written and God speaks about it. He doesn't speak about the Palladians in the Bible, but the other people do speak about the Palladians. So this could be another grand deception, along with the other grand deceptions that we have going on here. It's a diversion. So I don't know. I haven't studied much about the Palladians because when I did get into it, it was ridiculous, and I put it down. Do you know what I mean? I didn't go any further.
I don't have my Bible right handy, but open up Job 38.
Okay.
Talks about Orion, Pleiades, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
God created them.
Right.
He placed them in there. They are placed there to tell us a story, and they do tell a story. And it's a true one. And all of those things were placed in the sky in astronomy, not astrology.
Right.
But Satan comes along and turns it into astrology. God didn't tell us our future. He told us the future of the world. As it is. It's all written in the skies.
Right.
And Satan comes around and turns it into something else.
Well, of course, he confounds everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the book of Amos 5:8, that's what I was talking about. It actually references the 7 stars as well. It says, "Seek him that maketh the 7 stars and Orion, and turneth the shadow of death into the morning, and maketh the day dark with night, that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth."
Mm-hmm.
So these are key areas.
Right, because they're from the belt of Orion's belt.
Yep, key area. And Orion's huge. I think the opening to Orion is like 168 billion miles wide.
And they're supposed to be, I've had people describe them that they are big, beautiful, and they have long, flowing hair. I mean, I shouldn't laugh at that. I mean, it could be true. I mean, some people could be. There's people that do tap into a realm, and it's possible.
Well, I used to laugh at all of that, but now I understand that some of this is the closer that we're getting to the what?
The time of our birth.
The closer we're getting to going home, the more I'm realizing there's many, many things we don't know.
Right.
And everything that I think about when I'm thinking about the things I don't know is deja vu.
Right.
And where did deja vu come from? And why do I get the feeling that I've been someplace when I haven't been there? Or at least I don't think I've been there. But I could take you there.
Yeah.
And I probably would know every part of it. So therefore, at some time, I must have been there. I know, Casey, you run me through that time machine, didn't you? But really, I mean, we all have those feelings of deja vu. We know.
Yes.
And why do we have those? I don't know.
Did you ever hear the story about the Soviet astronauts that saw the angels?
No.
Yeah, this was I think there was about 6 or 7 of the astronauts. They all were witnessed, and witnessing and testifying that they saw the angels. Basically, they were huge. They said, and they were looking at them, and they were smiling. They said they saw 7 of them. There were 7 angels that appeared outside of the ship. I think it was called the Salyut 7. And if you type that in, like cosmonauts that saw the angels, it'll pop up in Google. But that's what they testify to. There's some YouTube video to it as well, and they said that they just felt like such a feeling of love. Whenever they run into these, you encounter these spiritual beings, you just feel so much love.
Well, then that's a good thing, because evil cannot emulate love.
No, it can't.
Not even fake it. So that's the real deal.
Yeah, I got spooked probably a couple weeks ago. One of my friends told me to watch this movie called Sinister with Ethan Hawke. Have you seen it?
No.
No.
I know
Don't
about
watch it. Don't watch it.
Yeah, I usually don't watch movies like that.
It was so it was just something about it. I don't know. I was like, it
was sinister.
It just really disturbed me. I'm like 6'1" and 250. I'm a pretty big guy, and I felt like a kitten after I saw that movie.
Yeah, because it works on your psychic, and that's what it's designed to do.
Say goodbye to Casey. He has to leave.
Oh,
bye,
goodbye, Casey.
We'll miss you.
But what I noticed when I saw that movie Sinister was that there was a demon in this movie, and I had seen that same demon before in this movie that I saw with Mel Gibson called The Beaver. Mm-hmm. And have you seen that movie, The Beaver?
No, but I know about it too.
Okay, well, there was a scene in The Beaver where when Mel Gibson finds the beaver in the dumpster, and on the dumpster there's so much occult symbols on it that I noticed that, and then I could see the same face from the demon that was in that movie, and I'm like, they're putting pictures of probably real demons in the movie.
Sure.
In the movie, and they had there's a pyramid on the dumpster. There's a Phoenician symbol for the letter A, and there's another type of entity, and then they have the number 6 on the dumpster as well. And I'm like, it finally hit me how they're using these symbols, and I wrote a piece on it where they're basically showing us all these symbols, and so our subconscious will see them. And then when they have these occult rituals, they're actually activating these symbols in the spirit realm, and because we carry the image in our own psyche, it's being activated in our minds.
Exactly. That's the witchcraft of it all.
And that's why good grandmas would say, don't watch that, turn that off.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And that's why they wash your mouth out with soap when you do it.
Those are the good grandma days.
Well, I don't do that because you open that gate, that door.
Yep.
Because the last movie that I ever saw like that was The Exorcist when it first came out, and I have never watched anything like it because it does do damage. It's just like Jaws. When I seen it, it does its damage. I don't go in the ocean no further than me seeing my feet.
Mm.
So it does a lot. A lot of people are like that.
I don't think I'd go in the ocean any further than that right now either. Probably not even that far. Not with the stuff that's in there now.
Well, this is why they do that. It just got placed upon my spirit to research that, and everything just came together because there were scientists at IBM that figured out that no matter how vast the distance in space, electrons can communicate simultaneously. Mm-hmm. And I said, that law, there has to be a spiritual law to that as well. And so whatever symbol is being activated in the spirit realm is probably being activated in the physical realm as well. And if you imprinted it, if it's been imprinted in your subconscious, then they got you.
Right.
And now you're talking about behaviors being manipulated, and you're talking about your hypothalamus releasing chemicals to direct your behavior, manipulate your behavior. And so this is why maybe we're asleep, and some people are turning into nymphomaniac. Some people are very violent, and all those symbols that they're showing have, like, if Casey was still on, Casey would tell us the same thing, that a symbol could mean many things. One symbol in the spirit realm could mean 1 to 10 different things. It depends on how you evoke it and what entity you call to evoke that particular symbol.
Right. And our tone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Open Sesame has a tone.
Yep.
And every frequency has a color. Everything is colors and tones.
And what they did with the supercomputer, if you want to take it that much further, the supercomputer is geared toward all the color codes and all the numerical codes. And so with those codes, in every connection of the supercomputer, it's connected to our minds.
Right. That's what they say when you go to look for a job, to always wear blue, because it is a calming color that puts out a certain frequency that will get you hired.
It hasn't worked.
For me, it has. That's funny. That's funny you said that, because I always wear like a pinstriped navy blue suit, and then I wear like a powder blue shirt, and I had like a 99% closing rate before I really went head on into Revelation Now. Now everybody hates me. They're like, "Who's the wiener? We're not hiring him."
Who's the wiener?
He reeks of Christ. Get him out of here.
Oh, they don't like Christ. They don't like Jews.
No.
But the closer you get to the end, it will intensify. All that is good will be hated.
Yeah, I actually worked for real witches in my last job in the finance world, and
Wiccas?
they study. Yeah, they were studying Kabbalah, and they were bringing Kabbalah into the bank. And I told a fellow researcher, his name's the Guerrilla Economist. He's on RogueMoney.net, and he told me when he was in banking, he got there really early one day, and he said all the higher up folks, the CEOs and all that stuff, they were in a conference room, and they had like a red triangle on the table, and they were all holding hands and reciting some type of chant in a language he didn't know.
But see, that's not Kabbalah, the real Kabbalah that was designed. They have adapted that and taken it over. There is no way that God accepts that.
No, I agree. I had to get an earful from a guy who really got angry at me when I was studying the Kabbalah symbols on the money. And he was like, the Kabbalah is not evil. It's the intention of man. And he was like, you don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, I don't know. I'm trying to learn. But I'm saying it appears it is evil. And every time I would say that, he would get really pissed.
That's because they have adapted it, just like Madonna and all of them. They're using Kabbalah, and they have perverted it.
Yes, that's what he said.
And that's the right word, is perversion.
Yep, that's what he said.
Because there is power in that, and they know that, and they use it for perversion.
It's no different than the Masons. They start you out in the innocent side of it first.
Right.
Then they suck you into the evil side of it.
Right.
So those who are on the front side and haven't been sucked into the evil side, they can't see.
No. That's right. And it takes... You got to have a lot of discernment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had quite a few people in Israel that emailed me about the story, and they were telling me how Kabbalah, they study Kabbalah in Israel, and it's not evil, and the people that are using it for evil are dealing with something that could hurt them, because I brought to their attention when Ariel Sharon,
right,
there were some Jewish folks there that put this curse on him from the Kabbalah called a pulsa denora.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, so I'm saying that's evil. I mean, and it's from the Kabbalah, so you...
That's right.
How's
they
it not evil?
cursed him into the position he's in all these years. And then the others, he was a mystic himself. And so the prophecy that he made, he said that, or someone said that when he died, then we would see the Messiah. But it's their Messiah, not ours.
Mm-hmm.
And their Messiah is who? Antichrist. So they're telling you the truth. We will see the Antichrist very shortly. I mean, they're working on bringing him in now.
Right.
Well, even Islam has that too. They have the one-eyed Dajjal. Am I pronouncing that right? It's like Dajjal. I'm not Muslim.
It's called
so
it's Dajjal.
Dajjal, right? Dajjal, or it sounds
They call
southern.
it Dajjal.
Like, Dajjal eat? Dajjal, okay. I got it now for sure. So, but the Muslims have that as well. So they're waiting on an Antichrist. There seems to be some common themes between all of the religions, the holy books, with an Antichrist that's coming back.
Do you want to know something very intriguing about the Jews and the Muslims?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the Holy Temple over there now, which is the Dome of Rock, where the Muslims have their temple, which was where the seat of David was at one time, before Salah ad-Din came in the picture. And they built this dome around the Dome of the Rock. And all the Jews pray to Jerusalem, towards Jerusalem, and all the Muslims pray towards Saudi Arabia, towards the holy city of Mecca. And they turn their back on the dome, the holy ground. That's very odd, isn't it?
Not just turn their back; they actually put their butt in the air towards
towards the dome when they pray. They're praying facing Saudi Arabia, towards Mecca, away from the holy ground.
Yep.
They're not praying to God.
Well, it's even more interesting now is in part of the area over there where Jesus had his Last Supper. The Catholic priests are meeting in there now. I mean, that's the Catholic Church now.
Right. Up in the upper chamber.
So, they're just working toward the abomination of desolation. That's it.
Yeah.
it seems that's what the new Pope is working on as well.
Oh, man, you people got no idea how evil this guy is.
I know.
If you want to know who this guy is, you go through the history of him in Brazil. Or where, it was Brazil.
He's kidnapped and murdered people and...
yeah.
My gosh.
Raped children.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sacrificed them.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, they hated him in there. And now all of a sudden, he becomes famous. And they love him. They gave him this big parade, and I'm like, you know what? This guy's got the same spirit about him that Obama had. Same thing.
Yeah. Their ego gets big.
I still think we should load them all up in a time machine and send them out.
Yeah, I think we should put them in the FEMA camps.
Yeah, but then we're still stuck with them.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I think what the Lord's going to do is going to be better than anything that we can even come up with.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
He does, because see, when they start messing with Kabbalah and they use it for evil and wickedness, and they start invoking these curses on people, they curse themselves.
That's right.
That's the big problem there.
I wonder, and I tried to find follow-up research on it, but I wanted to find out if anything negative happened to any of those rabbis that placed the curse on the prime ministers of Israel, because they did it twice. One of them was assassinated. Not help me out with the name. What's his name? The guy that was assassinated.
Which one? There's been a lot of assassinations.
The latest one, the Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm saying his name wrong. I just can't get it out today. But they had placed. I think what I had researched was that they had placed that curse on him like a week before.
You talking about Benjamin Netanyahu?
Yes, thank you. I think he was killed. He was killed, right? Am I wrong?
No,
he's still
the
alive.
Current vice president. He's the current
prime minister.
He's
the prime minister.
Killed though. He was the one that I think he had maybe he had an aneurysm or something, but something bad happened after.
Yeah, it was right after Sharon. What was his name?
I cannot remember.
Well, they
now.
all will be dealt with like that. Every one of them.
But this was after the Pulsa Denora, though. The rabbis were like, "We're tired of what you're doing. We don't want to share land," and so it was on the news, and they got together and they were like recorded doing the whole little ritual, And then I think he had an aneurysm. I cannot remember everything, but something bad happened to him a week later. Like they place this on you, then you fall down like a flight of steps, and then a lion eats you or something. There's something crazy happens.
The same thing goes for God's children. You don't come up against God's children and expect to walk away without any repercussions. You will receive repercussion by the hand of God. And I know when I was in Honduras, there was a accident one night, and one of the students that had come down from Europe, I believe he was from, he used my truck to come over and see me because I was sick. I was hooked up to IVs. I couldn't go. And so they brought my truck and drove over to see me, and they had an accident on the way. Well, the police saw an opportunity to make money. And so somehow they turned all of this on these kids, which in turn was turned on me because that was my truck.
Right.
So when I came here to visit, they stole my truck, the judge did, and gave it to somebody else.
What?
with my name still on it. So legally they could never transfer it. I wouldn't sign the papers.
Yeah.
Okay, when I get back, now this guy that was driving the semi that hit my truck, he wants me to pay him 5,000 limps. I said, well, you're going to turn mighty blue waiting for that one. It ain't going to happen. You stole my truck. That's all you're going to get.
Right.
And I wouldn't pay. So my son said to me, let me take care of this guy, my adopted son down there. I said, no, God will take good care of him. We don't have to worry about a thing. God has got this in his hands. And about 4 months went by, and my son came home one day just white-faced, and he said, Mom, you won't believe what happened. And I said, what? And he said, that guy that was driving the semi was killed in an accident today in his own semi.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I said, I told you, and it's not at my hands. I did nothing about it.
Right.
This was God's. God does this. He takes care of his people.
Yeah, that's why I don't do any retaliations on people that has transgressed, because I do leave it in God's hands just like that.
Yeah, when they attack me, I don't even bother to talk back.
Right.
Just go another direction because I already know God's got it.
Yep. I don't like to give them my attention.
No, I'm lucky. I'm a natural born quitter.
Oh, you're too funny. Natural born quitter. That's not quitting.
I'll just walk away. I'll be like, hey, whatever. I quit.
Quit. That's Casey too. Casey's the same way. Just, why bother?
Yeah.
They don't even earn the right for me to respond to that garbage.
Right.
Why would I do that? And I know anyway that I can go home and say, okay, God, this one's yours.
Just remember.
And I'm done. I can get on with business.
It's not what goes in the body that defiles it, it's what comes out.
That's right. That's right. I know there was a couple of people that were attacking me on YouTube here recently, and my son was just going crazy. Oh, he was on their YouTubes, and he was relentless. And I said, just let it go, man.
Yeah, because they take up your time, your energy, and
these
upset
guys are
you.
so dumb anyway that they're always going to catch themselves.
Sure.
You never have to do it or say a word.
I know.
But no, not my son. He's got to get in there. That fighter.
He's got to get his 2 cents in there, don't he?
Yep.
Yeah, you just can't play into Satan's hands. It's all a form of evil.
Yeah, it is.
It's evil behavior, and it's better to just walk on and let it be.
Yep.
Yeah, I had to take some flack from some people because I spoke against Alex Jones's InfoWar channel. Mm-hmm. He actually put out one of his people put out a video about the Siri iPhone and the gates of hell. You heard about that?
Oh, yeah.
So, and I was like, first of all, I come from a software engineering background, and Siri is not an artificial intelligent application. It's all coded. It's all programmed. And that was put in there from Asia, basically, from the Ghost Month. And so the problem I had with the InfoWars guys is he goes, just ask Siri about July 27, 2014, and listen to what you hear. And it says, the opening of the gates of hell. And he goes, and this is what bothered me. He goes, I don't know if this is some type of biblical prophecy. I didn't like him pulling the Bible into that at all and trying to bait people into thinking it was biblical prophecy. So I wrote a little story on it, and I kind of slammed him, saying that these are coders, these are programmers that are programming this into the database that Siri accesses, and he had no business bringing up biblical prophecy. And people got pissed off at me when I said that. You can't say anything about Alex Jones.
I know he has loyal followers.
Well, I'll tell you what. I have researched out Alex Jones very extensively. And Alex Jones, I have pictures of Alex Jones in his Jesuit outfit. He's a Jesuit.
Yeah.
That's why he'll never talk about him.
No.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yep.
I believe that because they have to put out the information. They give it to him first that props him up.
Yep.
Because I know the false information that he put out on the truckers on October the 10th to keep them at home.
Yep.
So that proved it to me when and I used to like Alex Jones, and I totally turned against him for that propaganda.
Yeah,
well,
he sure knows how to put it out there.
That the National Guard was going to close down the Beltway. Well, that would have been an act of war. And
that was him that started that?
Yes, it came from Alex
wow.
Jones. He put the story out. But you don't do that unless you're part of the government shields out there.
Yep.
Well, that French guy that or the Swiss guy that you and I watched, Kathy, Protz, he had a story on Alex Jones as well, a video on him, and he was talking about the Knights of Templar cross that he uses as a logo, and he says that he's basically saying what you're saying, but he's saying he's more on the Swiss side. He's a controlled agent that way.
Yeah, I don't doubt that one bit. Mm-hmm. But I know, and I have seen the Knights of Templar cross on his logos. Yep. He even has it right behind him when he's on air.
He's just there to spread fear and no solution, and he looks like a solution. But I think if he is a double agent, what they do is they befriend people, and they have their own database of people. Mm-hmm. Now they're like, yeah, I gave Alex Jones my credit card.
Right. Yes, this is what I'm telling you, because see. The Illuminati has to warn the people. It's a part of the agreement between God and Lucifer. The people have to be warned because they know half the people aren't going to listen anyway. So it's built Alex Jones up, and they are his mouthpiece of information to say, see, I tried to warn you. I tried to tell you. And
I wonder who owns that station.
Genesis Network.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about Alex Jones' station?
Yes.
Yeah, and who owns Genesis?
Well, I'm sure that Alex is part owner of it, but there are other people. That's something that we can research out.
I think we should, because I've got a feeling that Alex has got handlers.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Zeta. Now all three of us are going to end up on milk cartons.
Yeah.
No,
we're going to be famous for all the wrong reasons.
It's not our time to go. I know that God has His angels around me. I know He's got them around Kathy, and He's got them around all His people that He's working with right now. I don't know you very much, Michael, but I'm getting to know you. But I'm certain that they're around you also. This is why I don't worry.
God said that nothing is going to remain hidden. Everything is going to be revealed.
Right.
And there isn't anybody on YouTube doesn't know who Michael or who Alex Jones is. They know.
Right.
But the problem with Alex Jones is he gives you 99% truth with a twist. And
Yeah,
it's so
I mean-
hard sometimes to find the twist that you get sucked into this garbage. But all you have to do is listen to people who, if people are telling you only the problem and they're never telling you the solution, then it's all about fear. Get the heck out of there.
Yeah, one
It's
drop
the same
of
way with churches.
one drop
Okay.
of motor oil will spoil a whole gallon of fresh water.
Exactly. Yep. There are many, many people on here. I was just telling someone here the other day now. I think it might have been today. On YouTube, there are many, many videos coming out right now, and it looks like these things are just happening now, but these videos are 2 years old, 3 years old. We went through this about a year ago, and the propaganda went on for about a month until people got smart and figured out what was going on. Well, I caught it right away the other day. And I said, no, now this video is at least 2 years old, and so is this one. And I'd put it in the comments of the videos I was watching. Either you are a shill, or you don't vet anything. But this video, and I would take them right back to when it was made. I believe that we can identify the shills and the trolls by the information they're putting out right now, because they're all getting the same order from the DOD or the NSA, and so they're putting out these old videos. So those of these people who are putting out these old videos, you take a look at them, because you're probably looking at a paid shill, and you don't know it.
There's a good website out called spirituallysmart.com, and it's got some really informative information on Alex Jones. You should check it out, spirituallysmart.com.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
I wrote it down. I will do that. Well, we're at the end of the show again.
And you know what's odd, too? You know, I had got in touch with Joe Scalzon. Are you familiar with him, Michael?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Who
He's
is
on
it?
Alex Jones all the time. He agreed to come on the show. And he said, what time? And I told him, and I haven't heard from him. That's 2 weeks ago. So Alex Jones said, oh, you don't want to go on her show? I'm sure of it.
Yep.
You know?
That's all right. Then you don't want him either.
Right.
No,
We
just
don't-
let God
yeah.
handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That is for sure.
Because they know how very vocal that I am. I am very, just like when I was on Greta Van Susteren, you know, I wasn't on there long, because see, if you ask me a question, I'm going to answer that question directly. I'm not going to beat around the bush. And you know, I talked a little bit about the truck show, and she goes, well, what are you guys trying to do? I just told her, I said, we want to remove Obama because he's a threat to our security. He's a threat.
National security.
He's
yeah.
a threat to our and I said national security. He's a threat to our future generations, and he's a threat to our way of life. She goes, "Oh, we gotta go."
Yep.
I was like,
Now a word.
off.
Yep, now a word from our sponsors,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Frosted Flakes.
Oh, Lord. I think it's tutti frutti. Honestly.
And then when Megan Kelly wanted me to come on, I said, well, if you ask me a question, you know, I'm going to shoot it to you straight, so you might want to think about it.
That's what I always tell them, too. You're going to get it straight, and I'm not going to play. So,
Yes, it'll be
you sure you want me
uncensored.
on your show? You might get kicked off.
Yeah.
That's
So
why I was glad when I came on with you, and you told me I could say anything I wanted. No problem.
Anything.
Okay.
Right. As long as it's not cursing, you know, nobody wants to hear that garbage.
We're all going to dinner at the end of the year for that. We put a quarter jar out, and everybody's got to pay. Yep. Grandma's collecting.
Yep. You'd be surprised how quick them quarters add up.
Sure. Now, what do you got coming on tomorrow, Zita?
Tomorrow we have Casey and Michael Toops. Just Casey and Michael. I'm not going to put any last names anymore. Michael and Casey on I Am Sovereign, and that'll be from 8 to 10. And that is I Am Sovereign is going and growing pretty good, because everybody wants to redeem themselves from this government, to set yourself apart from it. And, you know, I have been on this thing for a long, long time and asking God. And then when I had brought Casey onto the show that day, it just clicked in me, because I've had this redemption manual for, I don't know, I went back and I had found it, but I've had it for probably 2 years. You can't get it online anymore. There's one place that I have found it, that I put it online where you can actually download it, and everybody else is charging for it. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's free, but I've had it, and, you know, and I've asked you when I came on your show, Kathy, the first time way back in October, about when God in Revelations 18, it says, "Come out of her, my people." See the difference between in Egypt, when Moses took Israel out of Egypt, they were slaves, but they never had a contract with Egypt. Like we, the American, we are slaves, but we were born into it with our birth certificate, and we're debt slaves into the commerce, you know, into maritime law. So we are slaves, and we have to come out of the merchants of the world. And if you look at that scripture really good, he's talking about coming out of the merchants.
Mm-hmm.
And to come out of her, to actually really come out of her, is to be a sovereign and send in your notices, because we have signed a contract with this very beast that we dislike. So instead of set my people free, it's come out of her, my people. It means the same thing, except we are in modern times, and we were born into it unaware.
Right.
I always wonder.
So
if
you
that
guys
means,
are. Go ahead.
If that means spiritually or physically when it says come out of.
It's
come out of her, my
spiritually.
people.
It is spiritually, but it's also physical in a contract, because every time that we do anything with license is signing a contract into the corporation. We sign a contract with our license, with our voter's registration, with our marriage license, with our tags, with everything. We're always constantly signing a contract with this beast. So you can still do that, but just like Casey said, I have a driver's license that I have signed 10 years ago, you know, that under prejudice. So, because that refers to the common law person, the straw man. But this is a spiritual warfare. We are spiritually in bondage as well with all these contracts, because we are free and we are sovereign. We have a free will from our Creator, not from our corporation that we have signed on to.
Well, I'll tell you, today I got a little taste, just a small taste of what's coming. And I went in to talk to the manager here, because one of the ladies, the program that we're on, the HUD program here, and the people came in to examine some of the apartments, and went into one lady's apartment and saw that she had this shelf running way high up in her closet, and it was a fire hazard and blah blah. Instead of just taking the stuff down and stacking it up or whatever, they threw it all on the floor and left it there.
Wow.
Well, she's got a hip that don't work and a knee that don't work. She can hardly bend, let alone walk. And she comes home and finds all of this. And then she doesn't quite tell the whole truth, which I found out today. But anyway, she tells us about what happened. Well, I was talking to the manager here, and I said, this was no way to treat anybody. Mm-hmm. It didn't happen this way. You could have wrote her out the paper that you always write to all the rest of us, saying this infraction has been committed and you need to fix this and blah, blah. Just left it, and her son would have come and helped her.
Right.
But no, you wanna flaunt your authority.
They do.
So you throw it on the floor, and make it look like she's done something horrible.
Yeah.
She comes home crying. She's old. She don't know. And I said, I don't understand what you guys are doing. She pushes over my contract in front of me. And she said, you see this? This is how much rent they pay for you. I said, well, they can pay $1 million a month, and they have not bought the right to mistreat me.
Right. Right, and that's what I'm talking about. See, this is spiritual because we have signed so many contracts in our everyday life that they have jurisdiction. In other words, what they're saying is we have jurisdiction over you, even over before God.
Mm-hmm.
And they treat us by their very fruits. They're showing that us on a daily basis because of the way they treat us. And they treat us with no respect. And we're not a slave, but we are a debt slave, and we are a spiritual slave. So we have to break that bondage and come out of her, my people, because God said, if you do not come out of her, then you will partake of the punishment. So you have to break that contract.
I told her before I left, I'd rather go live with them Indians over there.
I know. Well, they'll definitely treat you with respect.
They will.
Well, we're out of time, you guys. You guys tune in tomorrow for I Am Sovereign, 8 to 10, right here at patriots.org, patriotsride.org, PNN Talk Radio. And thank you, Jacksonville, Florida. I know we had some people from Jacksonville call in tonight because they were online and to just listen. And we thank you for that. And tune in to us tomorrow. And thank you, Kathy Rubio. Kathy will be here next Friday.
No, next Monday.
Oh, next Monday. No, Sunday.
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
You will be here Sunday, too, on the Lakota from 5 to 7.
Oh, I was wondering when that was. Thank you.
That's Sunday.
Sunday.
Then we have the American Voice on Sunday, 8 to 10, which is getting real good because a lot of people are calling in and being very vocal. So that's what we want, and thank you very much. And we will talk to you tomorrow. And thank you, Michael.
Yes, thank you, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
This is your home here. You come whenever you want.
Absolutely. You don't need an invitation. Just pop in.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll talk to you later.
God bless you all.
God bless you.
God bless you. Bye.